Hey friends, welcome to True Stories of Fate. Today, dive into a heart-wrenching tale of betrayal that shakes an elderly woman to her core. Imagine, you sacrifice everything for family, only to be cruelly excluded from their joy. What lies behind a secret wedding? Can Eliza, guided by mystical forces, reclaim her life? This story is packed with drama, struggle, and shocking twists. Listen to the end to uncover the truth and discover how her journey unfolds. Part 1. My quiet Seattle apartment. Sorting through old photos of my son Ethan, a strange unease settled over me, like a shadow from an unseen realm. I hadn't spoken to him in weeks, so I called to ask about his upcoming wedding. His wife, Sophia, answered, her voice dripping with a chilling smirk. "Eliza, we got married yesterday. Only the chosen were invited." Her words struck like a cold wind, whispering betrayal. For 3 years, I'd paid their rent, furnished their home, and stocked their fridge during tough times. Yet, I wasn't worthy of their circle. I stood frozen in my living room, the phone heavy, as Ethan mumbled excuses and Sophia's tone mocked me from the home I'd helped build. A faint hum, like a distant chant, echoed in the room, hinting at deeper treachery. The lavender dress I'd bought for the wedding hung untouched in my closet, beside new shoes and the shattered dream of celebrating my only child's day. I'd spent a fortune on that outfit, picturing myself in family photos I'd never be in, haunted by absence I'd planned for weeks, saved for their gift. Called my sister Beatrice in Portland with the news. Cleaned my apartment for a post-ceremony gathering. All collapsed under Sophia's venomous words. Ringing like a curse from an old tale, Ethan finally spoke. His voice rehearsed. "Mom, it was small, just us and a couple of witnesses." But I sensed the lie, as if a veil lifted. Social media revealed the truth. Sophia's family beaming beside the couple, her siblings toasting in joy. I saw Sophia's elegant gown, partly funded by my money for essentials. I saw what I was meant to miss. Images flickering like ghostly visions. A week later, Sophia called, desperate. "Eliza, the rent's overdue. The landlord's threatening eviction. You forgot the deposit." Her voice trembled, as if doom loomed. I paused, recalling the countless bank runs I'd made for them, each a thread in a faded web. All the outings I skipped to keep their home, the simple meals I ate to fund their comforts. And now, after excluding me from their joy, they dared call, blind to the mystic currents stirring within me. "Sophia," I said calmly. "Didn't I say I only help those who value me?" Silence. My heartbeat filled the void. She stammered. "Eliza, I don't understand. You're like family." Lies, delivered in that honeyed tone used for her wedding dress, their honeymoon, their rings, all funded by me, unaware I'd be excluded. Years of careful steps, weighing every gift, craving warmth from my son. I'd been the perfect mother, the generous mother-in-law, the silent benefactor enduring invisibility. But only the chosen awakened a dormant spirit. Like a spark from an ancient fire that I tallied my costs, rent payments, groceries, gifts, emergencies, a substantial sum from my savings, pension, and my late husband's inheritance meant for my peaceful sunset. Now a karmic imbalance needing correction. That night, I wept, not from sorrow, but rage, years of slights erupting. I mourned the times they made my love a burden, my presence a nuisance, my money their only need. As tears fell, a whisper guided me to Madame Clara, the seer from old neighborhood tales. Dawn brought resolve to seek her wisdom, an invisible pull toward the forest on Seattle's edge. Drawn by that mystical call, I walked through dense woods, the path lined with wildflowers and the scent of earth. At a clearing stood Madame Clara's wooden house, a cozy cabin with drying herbs on the eaves, shelves visible through windows filled with books on mysticism and healing, and a faint glow of crystals. Madame Clara, 60, thin and graceful with gray hair in a neat bun, opened the door in a white linen blouse, her eyes twinkling with knowing. "The spirits have been expecting you, Eliza," she said softly, her voice like an echo from another time. She led me to a table with tarot cards, candles, and sage bundles. As we sat, she read my aura, her hands hovering, revealing shadows of betrayal. "Your generosity has chained you to those who don't see your light," she said, shuffling the cards. The reading showed broken bonds and awakening power, the tower for upheaval, the empress for reclaiming strength. The threads of fate bind your heart tightly, she said, her eyes glazing with vision. But you can sever them. Spirits whisper of a great unveiling. Trust the signs and let your inner fire burn away illusions. She burned herbs to cleanse my energy and gave me a crystal amulet for protection, infused with her incantations. As I left, her words echoed, "Return when the shadows deepen. Your path to freedom is lit by your own light." Empowered, I returned home, the amulet warm against my chest, ready to face what lay ahead. Part 2. The sting of betrayal gave way to icy clarity, as if a veil between worlds parted. I rose, looked in the mirror, tired eyes, lines etched by unreturned love. But a new fire burned within, sparked by Madame Clara's vision. I brewed coffee, my ritual of years, but today my mind was free from Ethan's needs or hopes for his apology. Instead, I focused on the day ahead, a quiet strength growing inside. I was done putting them first. At the table where I'd planned their lives and shed silent tears, a mystic light glowed, a promise of change. I pulled out my ledger, calculating my losses, rent, groceries, gifts, emergencies, a fortune from my savings, pension, and husband's inheritance. Now a karmic debt demanding balance, wasted on adults who faked affection. My phone buzzed. Ethan. Once, I'd rushed to answer, heart racing for reconciliation. Now it rang unanswered, a premonition of lies. Sophia called next. Ignored. Ethan texted, "Mom, pick up. We need to talk." Deleted unread. That afternoon, I walked freely, feeling an invisible force guiding me toward the forest where Madame Clara lived. Her cabin, draped in herbs, glowed with crystals. She greeted me, her eyes wise. "The spirits knew you'd return. Eliza," she said, inviting me to her table of tarot and incense. She spoke of betrayal's roots and burned sage, chanting words of empowerment. "Cut the ties that drain you," she whispered, her voice otherworldly. She gave me another amulet, fortifying my resolve that I'd always run their errands. Bank transfers, shopping, repairs. Today was for me. Past the park where Ethan once hugged me, memories fogged, urging me forward. When did he see me as a cash machine? When did I mistake money for love? At the bank, Mr. Klein waved through the glass. He'd process my transfers, watch my accounts shrink. "Mr. Klein, stop all recurring payments," I said, his eyes widened. "Sure, Mrs. Harper. Something wrong?" "I see clearly now," I replied. "Cancel everything and lock my accounts." As he worked, calls flooded in. Ethan, Sophia. Like they sensed their lifeline fading. I turned off my phone. "Mrs. Harper," Klein handed me forms. "Forgive me, but your family's taken a lot. No pressure behind this, I hope." Touched, a stranger cared more than kin. "No pressure," I said. "I've stopped pressuring myself." Leaving, I felt light. My money was mine. No duty to those who saw me as a resource. At home, I reflected on joys forsaken for them, dreams resurfacing like ancient prophecies. Trips I didn't take, friends lost to their demands, hobbies abandoned. Then I saw 3 cars, Ethan's, Sophia's, and an unknown one. Movement inside my apartment. A chill, the keys I'd given them in trust. I took a deep breath, bolstered by Madame Clara's vision. Fate's threads bind tight, but you wield the blade to cut them free. I opened the door. Ethan slumped on my couch, head in hands. Sophia paced, frantic. A stranger rifled through my papers. "What's going on?" I demanded, voice steady. They stared, as if I were the intruder. Sophia spoke first. "Eliza, finally. Let's talk. This is Mr. Larson, our legal advisor." "Legal advisor?" I asked. "For what?" Larson, in a gray suit, offered a handshake. "Mrs. Harper, Dr. Larson, family law. Your kids are worried about your mental state." I ignored his hand. "My mental state?" I said. "I'm perfectly fine." Ethan looked up, panicked. "Mom, the bank said you stopped our payments. Accounts locked." "Why?" I gathered my papers. "These are private," I said. "You have no right to touch them." Ethan's tone turned condescending. "Mom, we're worried. You're acting strange, cutting us off, ignoring calls. You need help." Sophia grabbed my hand, falsely gentle. Eliza, stress is heavy. Loneliness can confuse you at your age. That word, confuse, alarmed me. Madame Clara's morning vision had warned. Shadows seek what isn't theirs. Stand firm, truth's light will scatter them. They'd excluded me from their wedding, now called me senile. I'm not confused, I said firmly, silencing them. I'm clearer than ever. Leave my home. Larson spoke calmly. Mrs. Harper, we understand you're overwhelmed, but family can step in if decisions seem impaired. I laughed sharply. Impaired? Like deciding my money is mine? Stopping support for adults who disrespect me? Sophia flinched. We never disrespected you, she said. Your family. Your money will be ours someday anyway. The truth. They saw me as gone, heirs claiming early. Out. I pointed to the door. All of you. Ethan snapped. We can't leave. You owe us. Rent, car payments, the credit card you co-signed. Oh, you. I raised my voice. I've paid for a home where I'm unwelcome. Funded a life with no place for me. Larson placed a folder on the table. These documents would simplify things, a power of attorney. For Ethan and Sophia to manage your funds temporarily. I tossed it in the trash. The only thing simplifying is you. Leaving. Sophia cried. Furious. You can't do this. We planned around your help. Planned around my money. I countered. Not my happiness or presence. Just my money. Ethan stepped closer. I stepped back. Not my little boy anymore, but a 35-year-old barrier to my funds. Mom, we messed up, he said, faking remorse. The wedding was a mistake. We can fix this if you're reasonable. Reasonable, I said bitterly. Keep paying while you treat me like a stranger? Pretend it doesn't hurt to be cut from my son's day. Larson packed up. This isn't over. There are legal options if you're deemed irrational. A threat. They'd try to declare me incompetent. Mr. Larson, I locked eyes. Research before threatening a 71-year-old who's managed finances flawlessly, raised a son alone, and supported 2 capable adults. Sophia spat. This won't stand. Eliza, we have lawyers. Hire them with your own money, I said. Mine's done funding your games. They left, wounded but not defeated. Ethan's last words. This ends badly, Mom. Alone when you need care. Ethan, I said sadly. I'm already alone, by your choice, not mine. The door shut, and a beautiful silence filled the room. Freedom's hush. I didn't sleep from regret, but from the thrill of control, Madame Clara's tarot flashing in my mind. Justice and rebirth. Part 3. I visited my husband's grave, no longer tied to their endless crises. The Seattle cemetery was peaceful, Thomas's plot overgrown. I sat by his headstone, speaking as if he were there. Thomas, my love, I lost myself after you. All my energy went to Ethan, but I forgot myself. The breeze felt like his spirit, whispering encouragement from beyond. Our sons changed. Or I was blind. Your money for my peace, I spent it on them. No more. I've learned. I cleaned the grave, laid flowers, and savored an hour of calm. At home, 3 cars again. My pulse quickened, but I was ready. Cameras showed Ethan, Sophia, and 2 strangers at my apartment. I stayed in my car and called Mr. Weber, my lawyer. They're back with others, I said. What do I do? Don't move, Mrs. Harper, Weber replied. I'm coming and calling the police. Yesterday's restraining order bans them from your property. Minutes later, Weber and officers arrived. I watched them confront Ethan and Sophia. Ethan gestured angrily. Sophia cried, unmoved. An officer approached me. Mrs. Harper, it's safe to exit. They're leaving. I stepped out. Ethan shouted from the street. Mom, this is ridiculous. Police on your own son? Ethan, I said firmly. Family doesn't break into my home or treat me like a bank. Sophia yelled, You owe us. We counted on your money. Weber cut in. Mrs. Harper, any claims go through my office. We have records of your payments. They drove off, defeated but stubborn. Madame Clara's ritual, herbs sprinkled at my door, chants against evil, seemed to hold their shadows at bay. That evening, my neighbor Margaret invited me for dinner. Her daughter showed genuine care, no hint of wanting money. Later, I told Margaret, I wanted this with Ethan. Maybe someday, she said. But they must value you as a person, not a wallet. It was my first hopeful night in weeks. Days grew calm, but cameras caught Ethan and Sophia's daily drive-bys, watching me. Weber advised logging every visit. Their persistence helps us, he said. Each violation strengthens your restraining order. One Friday, the doorbell rang. Cameras showed a polished woman with a folder. She spoke first. Mrs. Eliza Harper? I'm Schmidt, social worker with Senior Services. Reports say you're at risk. A chill ran through me. They'd escalated to the authorities. ID, please, I said calmly. She showed it. Mrs. Schmidt, may I come in? I let her in. Refusing could worsen things. She sat, opening her folder. Mrs. Harper, reports mentioned sudden financial changes, cutting off family, paranoid cameras. Sophia's lies painted me as deranged. I'm calling my lawyer, I said. It's just a check, Schmidt replied. If everything's fine, there's no issue talking. No talk without my lawyer, I said firmly. Weber arrived in 20 minutes. Miss Schmidt, do you have a court order? He asked sharply. My client's protected. This is harassment. Family reported concerns, she said. It's my duty to check. What family? Weber snapped. The ones who tried to seize her funds, broke into her home. He slapped down a folder. Here's evidence of their greed. Years of payments, exclusion, blackmail. Who needs checking? Schmidt shifted uncomfortably. Mrs. Harper, why did you stop supporting your son? She asked. They used me, I said. I was a bank account, not a mother. I'm done. But isn't it a duty to help family? She pressed. My duty was raising my son to 18, I replied. He's 35, married, capable. Funding him isn't my job. Weber added, is it normal for a grown man to rely on his elderly mother for rent? Schmidt had no answer. Can you manage your finances, Mrs. Harper? She asked. Here are my statements, taxes, investments. All in order, I said. I live independently, drive, keep my home, have friends. Medications? Just vitamins. Weber confirmed. My client passed a full medical exam. Perfect health. Schmidt closed her folder. No risk here, she said. Case closed. After she left, Weber warned. Eliza, they'll keep pushing, hiring experts to prove you're unfit. They're that desperate for my money? I asked. Yes, he said. Next, they'll file for guardianship. It's tough to win, but a corrupt judge could sway it. Fear gripped me, but Weber reassured. Your evidence is stronger than their greed. That afternoon, I vented to Beatrice. Sis, she said, they're willing to ruin family for your money. It hit me. Ethan and Sophia saw me as a resource, not a person. It hurt, but it freed me. Their actions showed my well-being meant nothing compared to my wealth. That evening, Margaret introduced me to her garden club. Cynthia, Maria, Carmen, Alfreda, all survivors of family exploitation. We shared stories. I cut off my brother who only wanted cash, Maria said. My daughter only visited for money, Carmen added. Alfreda, wise at 80, took my hands. Eliza, the worst pain is realizing the love you thought you had wasn't real. You paid for an illusion. Her words healed. What did you learn? Cynthia asked. Being alone with unloving people is worse than being alone with myself, I said. Now I'm in good company. We laughed, toasting wisdom. That night, under stars brightened by Madame Clara's cosmic ritual, I felt free. No dependence, only duties to myself. Not scary, but thrilling. A month later, I thought the battle was won. My routine was peaceful. Breakfast with the paper, gardening, lunch with friends, painting, a passion buried under their needs. But one Thursday, Weber arrived, grim. Eliza, Ethan and Sophia filed for guardianship, claiming you're incompetent, he said. The words hit like a stone. I knew it was possible, but hearing it was real. They want control of my money? I asked. Yes, Weber replied. If a judge rules you unfit, Ethan gets everything. My son's betrayal crushed me. What's their evidence? I asked. 3 witnesses claiming erratic behavior, unpaid bills, hoarded medications, and a doctor saying your refusal of an eval proves decline, he said. Lies, I said. No bills, no hoarding. I know, Weber said. It's fabricated but convincing. Witnesses, Sophia, your neighbor Davis, and your pharmacist, Green. Davis hated my friend's parking. Green? I headed to the pharmacy, the pharmacy. Green looked nervous. Mrs. Harper, good to see you, he said, voice shaky. Is it? I replied, I hear you signed a statement about my strange medication habits. He flushed. I'm sorry, he said. Sophia asked about your prescriptions. I told her you only buy vitamins and aspirin. She said that proved neglect. Did you sign something? Weber asked. Yes, Green admitted. A form about irregular purchases. I thought it was for insurance, not a lawsuit. Sophia's deception was cunning. Mr. Green, write a statement with the truth, I said. Of course, Mrs. Harper, he said. I'm so sorry. Next, we confronted Davis. He was hostile. What do you want, Harper? He growled. You signed a statement about my client's behavior, Weber said. Yeah, she's crazy, Davis said. Acting weird for weeks. Like what? Weber asked. Cameras everywhere, strange people visiting, yelling at family. Davis replied that I stepped in. Those cameras protect me from my son breaking in, I said. The visitors are my friends. I raised my voice to defend my home. Don't care, Davis snapped. You're still crazy. His words were petty malice. That evening, Weber and I planned. Eliza, you need a psychiatric eval, he said. Dr. Moore will confirm you're competent. What if they bribe the judge? I asked. The system's not perfect, he said, but your evidence is strong. The next day, I met Dr. Moore, a kind woman in her 50s. Mrs. Harper, we'll do tests to assess you, she said. Take your time, be honest. 2 hours of questions, memory, logic, finances, emotions, and cognitive tests followed. Your results are excellent, she said, smiling. You're not just competent, you're cognitively exceptional. Why do they think otherwise? I asked. It's classic elder financial abuse, she said. Sadly common. Her validation brought relief and sorrow. That afternoon, Margaret gathered her garden club. I shared the guardianship suit. They were outraged. Eliza, I'll testify, Maria said. I've seen your strength. You're sharper than women half your age, Cynthia added. Alfreda, wise at 80, held my hands. Kids have tried to call parents unfit for money for centuries, she said. But you have evidence and friends. Hope surged. I wasn't alone. A sisterhood stood with me. The saddest part, I said, is they'd destroy any chance of reconciliation for money. I could have forgiven, but not now. That's for the best, Cynthia said. You know who they are. That night, I grieved not my son, but the dream of love that never was. A new strength grew, fueled by Madame Clara's vision of balanced scales. 3 weeks later, I stood in court, wearing a black suit, radiating resolve. This wasn't just about my mind, but my dignity and freedom. Weber prepped me. They must prove you're unfit. We'll show you're not. What if the judge is biased? I asked. Judge Miller is fair, he said. He protects elders' rights. In the courthouse hall, Ethan and Sophia stood, him in a new suit, her in black, like a funeral for our bond. Their lawyer began. Mrs. Harper is incompetent. She cut off family support, installed paranoid cameras, isolated herself. His words twisted my strength into weakness. Sophia testified, fake tears in her voice. Eliza turned hostile, cutting off her family. Weber cross-examined. Mrs. Dawson, when did you call Eliza without asking for money? We talked about lots of things, she stammered. Give me a date, Weber pressed. I don't recall, she said. Did you marry without inviting her? It was a small wedding, she said. You said only special people were invited? Not like that, she blushed. What kind of special excludes a mother-in-law? She had no answer. Ethan's testimony broke my heart. Mom was generous. But now she's irrational, influenced by others, he said. Weber was relentless. Mr. Dawson, how much money did your mother give you over 3 years? I don't know exactly, Ethan said. A large sum? Maybe. She's generous. When did you visit without asking for money? Silence. Did you break into her home for her papers? Weber asked. We were worried. Ethan said. You brought a lawyer to pressure her for your funds? To help her, Ethan claimed. A 35-year-old needs his elderly mother to pay rent. Ethan said nothing. Davis testified I was erratic, but admitted he never spoke to me, only assumed. Their doctor claimed my refusal of an eval proved decline, but Weber presented Dr. Moore's report. Our witnesses, Green, clarifying his tricked statement. Moore, affirming my clarity. Margaret and friends, testifying to my vitality, built a strong case that on the stand, I carried 71 years of strength. I gave them years and money, I said. But they saw me as a transaction, not a mother. I stopped to reclaim my life. Their lawyer tried to confuse me, but I answered clearly. Judge Miller deliberated for 2 hours. He returned, voice firm. Mrs. Harper is fully competent. Her decisions are rational. This suit is driven by financial motives, not concern. Guardianship denied. I won, not just the case, but my freedom, as Madame Clara foretold. The scales will balance. Shadows will flee. Leaving, I saw Ethan and Sophia arguing with their lawyer. Her glare was venom. His held late regret. That night, Margaret's friends toasted justice. Eliza, you took back your life, Alfreda said. She was right. My future was mine. Travel, art, life without fear. 3 months later, I sold my apartment and moved to a downtown loft. Half my money went to charities fighting elder abuse. The rest funded my dreams. Europe, art classes, volunteering. I never heard from Ethan or Sophia. Neighbors said they moved to a smaller place. Sophia got a job, maybe learning the value of work. On my balcony under the stars, I thought of the woman I was a year ago, scared, believing love could be bought. She's gone. Now I'm Eliza, 72, knowing true love is priceless and freedom is my right. Friends, thanks for listening to this incredible story. If Eliza's journey moved you, hit the like button and subscribe to True Stories of Fate to catch our next captivating tale. Share your own mystical stories in the comments. We can't wait to hear them. See you in the next drama, where fate unveils new secrets.